This is Celebrity Psych Test, where we probe the personalities of famous faces.
Are you ready to take the test?
I'm chomping at the bit.
As they answer a series of statements in our tailor-made test.
It can be quite difficult when they try to do that huggy, kissy, snogging bollocks.
Our very own psych tester is going to analyse their answers.
He was able to see the real me so quickly.
And give them the very revealing results.
You are a massive show-off, and you like being the centre of attention.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
How well do they know themselves?
You have to live in this body, so surely you want to know everything about yourself, and this is the way to find out everything about yourself.
How well do you know them?
I let people think I'm one sort of person, bubbly, outgoing, but really, I've got all those insecurities.
We're about...
Yeah, I'm more or less ready.
To find out. In the hot seat today, newsman Krishnan Guru Murthy.
I think self-discovery is probably quite a complicated thing, and I don't know whether I'm going to do it on a TV show, but we'll see.
And former roofer turned reality star Stephen Bear.
I'm so intrigued to know what my personality actually is. That's why I'm taking a test, so I can't wait to hear a real deep diagnosis of me.
Neither can we, Mr. Bear. Neither can we. Take a seat, celebrities. Your time has come.
Are you ready to take the test?
Yes.
Yes, please. Come on.
I don't like being the centre of attention.
It really depends on the situation. I think overall, in all honesty, I'd have to say strongly disagree. I think you can't spend 30 years on television without saying, you know what, I quite like being the centre of attention.
Maybe I'm a show-off. Maybe I'm a bit flash. Like my car, what I bought, I've wrapped it in purple camouflage. Like, who does that? It's got green neon tints inside and out. I've got my surname, Bear, stitched in the headrest. I want people to go, look at him. Love it.
I can't be doing with discussions about the meaning of life.
I would strongly disagree with that. I think it's good and interesting to talk about life and the meaning of it.
No, I think it's great. Honestly, I got my views on life. Now, I think the world was flat, honestly. I don't think we come from gorillas, though, because when you see gorillas, they don't turn into humans. I don't know how you can switch from gorilla to human.
I think the meaning of life often boils down to either religion or sort of personal philosophy and, you know, personal morality, and all of those are things that I find really fascinating.
Why is it in certain parts of the world there's different languages? How did that come about?
I don't worry about what's going on with other people.
Strongly disagree. I do worry about what's going on with other people, both people I know and people in the world. And it's one of the reasons I do what I do.
I don't worry about what's going on with people. I don't really care about other people, apart from my family and my girlfriend. Everyone else, they can do their own thing. I just worry about what I'm doing.
There is never a good reason to lie.
I would disagree. There are times when we all tell white lies, usually to not hurt somebody's feelings. If
a girl says, I might gain a bit of weight, always say no. And you know what? You actually look slimmer. Never, ever say yes.
It's pointless trying to pretend that there is never a good reason to lie.
Most people have their hearts in the right place.
Even if we don't sit with someone, we think someone's rude or nasty, that person might have a mum, or they would have a mum or a dad or a brother or a sister, and at one point in their life, they've done a kind turn to them, which we haven't seen. But everyone has got that as part of human nature.
I think most successful people lead upstanding, principled lives.
I've met lots of people at work, whether they are, you know, in politics or business or even the media, who I would say are not particularly upstanding and will shaft you, given half a chance, and who don't necessarily believe in very much except their own success. But I think most people in life, generally, and most successful people that I meet in my personal life, I think they are upstanding, principled people, and I believe in the general good of most people. So I will agree with the statement, but, you know, there are a lot of shysters out there too.
I only do things when I am positive they are morally right.
I've got my morals. Like, if I'm walking out the door, someone's behind me, I'll leave it open. Or if a bird's with me, they can go first. But if I'm walking down the road and I see £20 on the floor, I'm going to put it in my pocket. Now, I'm not going to hand it in to the police. Would that make me a bad person?
We don't judge what's good or bad here, Mr. Bear. It's strictly about your personality. Still to come, more intriguing answers.
It must be so stressful, being a fake.
And some very frank feedback.
Does that mean I'm special, Lee?
Could mean that you're special.
This is Celebrity Psych Test. Newsman Krishnan Guru Murthy
That just shows how self-centred I am.
and reality TV joker Stephen Bear
These questions are fucking mad, aren't they?
are responding to a series of statements designed to give us an insight into who they truly are.
I find the easiest way to deal with people is to tell them what they want to hear.
No, I strongly disagree. This is why I haven't got a lot of friends sometimes, because I give people honest answers and honest feedback, whether they like to hear it or not. If my mate says to me, do you reckon my girlfriend loves me? Do you reckon she loves me? I go, no, she doesn't care.
I find the easiest way to deal with people is to tell them the truth. You know, obviously with tact and sensitivity.
She's too much of a flirt. She's probably getting rumped somewhere, in a nightclub, or back at his house.
I like using long words.
Do you know what? I do like using long words, and I do like speaking another language sometimes. So if I go to France, I would start with, oh, bonjour, je m'appelle Stephen Bear. And they'll go, God, he's a bit French, isn't he?
I don't like using long words because I don't like using words that other people may not understand. I think it's an exclusive thing to do. And I think language is all about making as many people understand what you mean as clearly as possible.
The long words I like using, give you an example. Do you know what that is? That's phenomenal. I'm flabbergasted. So I do like using long words sometimes, but maybe I should know more long words.
I would rather be honest and modest than be a liar and a success.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I can't imagine a life built on lies. It must be so stressful, you know, being a fake.
I'd rather be a liar and stinking rich. There's no point being honest and living in the slums and being in your overdraft, scratching around for money, whatever, because when you're really poor, no one really listens to you, and it's crap.
Test complete.
Round of applause for Stephen Bear.
I'm usually the one asking the questions, and so that's unlike any interview that I would normally be involved in. Much more probing, much more personal.
I think that I haven't revealed anything unusual, but other people might see my answers and think, God, bloody hell, I never knew he thought like that.
Our resident psych tester has been analysing both celebrities' answers and comparing them to all the other people around the world who've taken the test. It looks at 6 key personality traits. The first trait Lee wants to feed back on is how trusting our celebrities are. And Bear comes out as a pretty suspicious kind of guy.
You're quite untrusting in the world and don't trust anyone except yourself. However, when it comes to friends and family, you believe in the value of honesty, courage and empathy.
Well, this is the thing, Lee, like, I only listen to myself and I only want to do my own thing. I don't really trust anyone, obviously apart from my family and also my girlfriend, because effectively, in my head, they're the only people that really care about you. If you ask someone else to pay your phone bill, like your mate, when you've got no money, they won't give you a tenner. They wouldn't.
Despite often seeing the dark side of human nature, Krishnan has a more positive worldview.
I'm really astounded how you maintain this faith in humanity, because that came through really strongly with a lot of your answers.
Yes, I've seen absolutely terrible things and met pretty terrible people, but you have to keep it in perspective and say, you know, most of the world isn't like that. Most people aren't like that. Most people are, you know, in those countries are victims of the bad people. They're not the bad people. I think if you thought of life any other way, you'd just go, what's the point of carrying on?
The test also looks at how much empathy our guests have for others, and it suggests Bear doesn't have very much.
The test shows you're a tough cookie, which may suggest that you're uncaring, you show little empathy and you put your own needs first. However, this doesn't tally up with some of the answers that you give. You know, you talked about family and friends. So I'm just left wondering, are you underselling yourself in that way? You are able to show empathy and care for other people?
I do say sometimes, no, I don't care about you. But really, I have got a soft side. For example, if I was to give a homeless person some money, or if someone needed my help, I would help you, but I do pick and choose who I help. So it's not, you're not all tarred with the same brush, but I pick and choose I want to help.
Krishnan, however, comes out as much more of a people person.
You're very interested in other people. That came through a lot, massively interested in other people, hence you do the job that you're doing, and show a great deal of care and empathy.
As you get older and you go through more yourself, you have more empathy. I mean, maybe that's just a very male thing. You know, I think my female colleagues just have it. And you can see it in the newsroom as well, you know, amongst the sort of the younger men and women. I think empathy is just more of a female trait, but men learn it.
When it comes to creativity and openness to new ideas, Bear definitely seems to like coming up with original things.
So you're incredibly curious. You love alternative ideas, unusual theories, and you're a great storyteller.
That sounds exactly like me. I like making up stuff just for a laugh. I like to sound really interesting when, in fact, I've done nothing at all, apart from have a cup of coffee and a little Kit Kat or something.
In terms of being an extrovert, Krishnan comes out as a naturally outgoing type, but with a good balance.
So you like being in the spotlight, however, you also like to have time away with your family and friends.
I couldn't survive doing this as long as I have without being able to turn it off. It's a slightly weird existence because, you know, sometimes it's my job to be the bastard at work, you know, and you've got to be mean to people, and that's not the way you would normally be, you know, in your life. So in order to be a really hard-nosed interviewer, sometimes you've got to be a real twat, and that's the split personality thing, you know.
The overall results show that outside of his family and close friends, Bear has very little affinity with other people. The test suggests that he has a strong imagination, is open to new ideas, and has a gift for telling stories. Although he sees the world as a hostile place, he does have a strong core of people who he completely trusts. Krishnan's results indicate he's happy to be the centre of attention, but also relaxed about sharing the limelight. That he cares a lot about other people and is open to forming new relationships. And that he has an unshakable faith in human nature and assumes that people generally act with the very best intentions. Now they've heard what Lee has to say, what do our guests make of the feedback?
Am I too trusting? Am I being a bit gullible in the world? I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive. But I don't think so. I think I've probably got my proportions in the right way round.
Everything that Liz told me was bang on the money, and it's exactly what I'm thinking. But I'm glad it's all out in the open and I'm not going crazy.
This is Celebrity Psych Test, where we probe the personalities of famous faces.
Are you ready to take the test?
I am so excited.
As they answer a series of statements in our tailor-made test.
Don't really care about other people.
Our very own psych tester is going to analyse their answers.
This is like a school report on life.
And give them the very revealing results.
You are suspicious, competitive, and have less empathy for other people.
Can't have too much empathy because no one has empathy back.
How well do they know themselves?
I can be very difficult, I can be very challenging, and I'm OK with that.
How well do you know them?
Most people will look at me and just think, he's going to be a nightmare.
We're about...
Yes!
...to find out. Who's in the chair today? Legendary broadcaster Janet Street Porter.
There's not a lot of hidden depths to me. I'm basically deeply shallow.
And Towie's Bobby Norris.
See, I feel I already know everything because I've been me for 30 years. But by the end of today, will it be different? I'm not sure.
Well, we'll soon find out, Bobby. Take a seat, celebrities, and prepare to be tested.
Are you ready to take the test?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm more or less ready.
It's always best to tell the truth in every situation.
Strongly disagree. I've never told the truth. Most people can't deal with the truth, and in most relationships it's not a good idea to tell the truth. I don't want to reveal too much about myself to anyone because it's my spirit, my soul, and it belongs to me. And why should I tell you?
There's no reason to lie, because even if it makes someone feel better for a short time, the truth will always out. So why prolong it? It's like when you have waxing done. Just tear the strip off and don't mess about.
I don't worry about what's going on with other people.
I would agree with that because I'm very self-obsessed. So a lot of the time I'm thinking about what I think about things. That takes up quite a lot of my headspace.
I'm like a stick of rock. If you snapped me, it'd say like loyal and compassionate all the way through. They call me Bob's your uncle, like, because I'm an agony uncle. So yeah, bring me your problems.
I get lost if people start talking about philosophy or complex ideas.
Strongly disagree. The smarter the people, the more energised I am. So far this week, I've had supper with two of my oldest friends who could talk for hours about really complex things. And that's what I would regard as the most relaxing way to spend my time.
I barely know what philosophy means. I think it's like old wives' tales and stuff to do with yesteryear. I get lost if people start talking... Yeah, see, I'm lost already just reading that, so couldn't agree more, babes.
I spend a lot of time just thinking about things.
Strongly agree. I do spend at least an hour a day reading. I make the time even late at night.
I am quite a thinker, I won't lie to you. And I think if I was born in a different generation, I would have been like one of them, like what Shakespeare kind of was and that kind of sat there, and Charles Dickens. And, yeah, but I would be one of them, I think. If I've got time, I like to ponder. Even in the back of an Addison Lee, you know what I mean? So, strongly agree.
Most people have their hearts in the right place.
I feel like the majority of people do. A lot of people are loyal, and I feel like there's just that handful of shitters out there that try and ruin it for people. But as a whole, I'm a positive person, and I like to believe people have a good heart.
Everybody's got their heart in the right place. It's in the middle of their body. I don't know where you put me on that, neutral.
Putting absolute trust in someone can only end in tears.
It depends on the person. I've had examples where it's ended in disaster, but generally I don't trust people that much.
You've got to put your absolute trust in people, and you know what? If it ends in tears, you then have to learn from that and cross that bridge when you get to that bridge. There's no point worrying about that bridge when you're still over here on, like, the M25. Do you know what I mean? Do every single thing when you get to it. So, strongly disagree. Don't be neggy, babes, that's what I say.
I have a pretty wild imagination.
Strongly agree. I think that if I hadn't become a journalist, I would have worked in design.
Yeah, I think I've got quite a good little imagination on me. Like, I mean, the other day I woke up thinking I was married to Harry Styles, so what a dream, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm even imagining when I'm asleep, so that's amazing. So I agree. I mean, I woke up and realised I wasn't married after about 4 minutes, so bad times.
I find meeting new people quite awkward.
No, I live for meeting new people. I find people fascinating. I love people watching. I could sit there and have a latte. Strongly disagree.
I would agree with that. And even people I have to meet professionally on television, it can be quite difficult when they try to do that touchy-feely, huggy, kissy, snogging bollocks, which makes me feel physically sick, because what it says to the viewer is these people, we're hugging and kissing each other as if we're friends when we're not true friends. So I do not want people to hug me, touch me, kiss me that I don't already know unless I've chosen to do it.
I hope our psych tester bears that in mind, because it won't be long until he meets these two to give them their results.
I don't get really, really, really annoyed very often, but you don't want to be near me when I do.
But before that, there are still many more honest answers to come.
I think I've just got a thick skin. Probably like the umpteen layers of tan that I wear just gives me a bit of a barrier.
This is Celebrity Psych Test. Bobby Cole-Norris.
Oh, my brain's fried.
And Janet Street Porter.
I'm exhausted.
Are answering a series of questions designed to give us an insight into who they really are.
It doesn't take much to get me upset.
Well, it depends what you call by upset. Irritated, yes. Upset, no. So neutral.
Disagree. I think I've just got a thick skin. Probably like the umpteen layers of tan that I wear maybe just gives me a bit of a barrier.
I am always forgetting where I put things.
One of the things they always say about older people is, oh, they always forget. And it's a kind of categorising old people as a bit dumb and forgetful. And I don't want to be put in that category. So, no, I don't forget a lot of things. Mind you, having said that, I left my computer up in Yorkshire.
Now I'm 30, I always forget where I put things. And I do that thing where if I get upstairs and I forget what I've gone up there for, like I remember where I live and stuff.
I like using long words.
What's the definition of a long word? Compared to cat, a lot of words are long. So even words like sophistication, I think that's got a lot of letters in it. And maybe I don't know many long words at all, actually. Encyclopedia. Serendipity. Don't actually know what that means, but there's a salon called that. So I think it means like spa / come and just treat yourself.
I love thinking up great new ideas.
Over my career, I've thought up loads of new television programmes, thought about how they're going to be filmed and lit and the graphic design and the set. I love thinking up new ideas, so strongly agree.
This is me to a T. If I ever sit there and watch Dragon's Den, I think I'd love to invent something, but I never actually get round to doing it. So actually, what kind of ideas would I have? Ideas on where to go on holiday, mate. That's not really an idea, is it? It's just going online and booking an holiday.
Test complete.
Oh, is that it?
Flew by.
That test wasn't difficult at all. That was hardly, you know, A-level physics.
Just kind of answered honestly, so I've not really thought about what I was saying or my answers, so I've just kind of gone with the flow and been natch.
Our psych tester Lee has been watching their answers closely. He's also compared them to thousands of other people worldwide who've taken the test, which looks at 6 personality traits, including how they get on with other people.
You're definitely a tough cookie. The most extreme versions of this, people may see this as argumentative, cold or uncaring. You've got that tough exterior.
Yes, I am a tough cookie, but inside, to the people I know and trust, I am not.
Janet's result differs to how Bobby rates on the friendliness scale.
You are a massive softie. You've got a great sense of other people's emotions and you seem to absorb other people's emotions and be able to feel and connect to others as if they're your own emotions. Thinking about in terms of your profession as well. I guess it's like a counselling session, as in some of the sessions.
A lot of hairdressers do kind of become their client's counsellor. Probably stems from that, or that's probably... The seed was probably already there, but that really cemented it. If there was, like, GCSEs in emotional, maybe I would have smashed it and I'd have been at Oxford. Do you know what I mean?
Janet also has another standout personality trait.
You scored very high in emotional stability. You're calm and relaxed, so you get irritated, but you don't get upset easily.
I think people get confused. I might go to the supermarket and get really annoyed that there's not enough stuff in the reduced section. And I might go, where are all those yellow stickers that should be on at 6 o'clock at night and they're not there? And other shoppers might go, oh, she's going into one in the co-op or whatever. But I've forgotten about it 15 minutes later. I don't get really, really, really annoyed very often, but you don't want to be near me when I do. So it's quite a difference.
Okay.
The test also gives a clear idea of how Bobby sees the world around him.
You're incredibly trusting in the world and the people in it. You have a lot of faith in humanity and believe almost everyone is courageous and honest.
I can't let someone and then negativity or what they've done to me or that one experience let me come away from something and judge everyone.
So you try not to be tainted by little knocks along the way?
Which is probably borderline a bit of a mug, isn't it?
The danger is it can be seen as naive and unrealistic, and it could leave you vulnerable to people who don't meet your expectations.
Yeah, this is kind of really freaky, actually. This is like bang on the money.
Out of our 6 personality traits, Bobby's standout results suggest he's very concerned with the well-being of others, that he's highly efficient and organised, and that he's so trusting in the goodness of the world, it can sometimes make him appear slightly vulnerable. Compared to others who've taken the test, Janet comes out as very emotionally stable, that she's much more of a tough cookie than Bobby, often putting her own needs first, and that she loves making plans. But she also loves to change those plans as she sees fit. What do our celebrities think about their results?
I was a little bit cynical about it, but I thought the end results were pretty, on the money. I was surprised.
I'm going away here with, information about myself that I genuinely didn't know in the last 30 years, so it's good to sit down and be given that feedback.
Taking the test today, reality starlet Charlotte Crosby.
The media would portray me as loud, vulgar and a little bit annoying. Probably that is a fair comment, because when I'm on TV I am a little bit loud and vulgar.
And former boxing promoter Callie Maloney, previously known as Frank.
I've decided to take this test because I'd like to know where I am in my life. Life is sort of starting to settle down, so I'd like to know exactly where I am and who I really am there.
Time for today's two to take a seat and speak their minds.
Are you ready to take the test?
Yes, I am.
Ready as ever. I am so excited.
It's always best to tell the truth in every situation.
If it comes to the police, then yeah, you've got to tell the truth, haven't you? Because you just got to be honest, because you're under oath. In little situations like you have left a skiddy on the toilet in a public area, someone's went in to use the toilet after you, it's best to lie.
I sometimes think the odd white lie is not a bad thing if it saves someone from heartache or from a bit of agony.
I have a sharp tongue.
Yeah, I am a landlady of a pub, and there's obviously a group of guys that sit and chat with me and they joke, and one of them turned around and went to me, "Kelly, I've got to say, you are the bollocks." And I just turned around and went, "No, I've had them cut off."
I find it easy to sympathise with other people's feelings.
I sympathise with other people's feelings a lot more now than I did previously when I was Frank Maloney. As Frank Maloney, if I'm honest, I didn't sympathise with anybody's feelings. I didn't really care about people's feelings, and if it meant paying no attention to other people's feelings, I would railroad over them.
Brown-nosing powerful people is a good idea.
Oh, does that mean licking someone's arse?
No, I disagree with that.
No, I think that's very fake. I don't like being fake. I don't even like going to events with other celebrities because I feel like all they do is talk and chat and be fake. And I just like to have my close friends and family, my normal friends from home who I grew up with. I don't want to have anyone else. I'm not really that bothered. So I strongly disagree with this statement.
Powerful people, no matter what you do for them, will only take you into their circle of friends if they can benefit from you. So I would disagree with that statement.
I don't worry about what's going on with other people.
Strongly disagree. If I'm out for dinner with like a couple of friends and there's an old woman sitting on the table opposite, eating on her own, I feel awful for the rest of the week. Why is she by herself? Has her husband died? Has she got no family? Does she need some company?
I work on the assumption most people have a nasty side which they will reveal at some point.
I think we've all got a nasty side in us, and some people can bring it out, some people can hide it, but at some point, I suppose it comes out.
I'm quite trusting to people until they give us a reason not to be. So I genuinely think that everyone's pretty nice unless I start suspecting something.
I can't be doing with discussions about the meaning of life.
I mean, what is the meaning of life? Is it to give birth?
I actually like talking about the meaning of life and what's going on in the world.
Is it to fall in love?
I like to understand what makes people tick.
It's definitely not to get a job, because Adam and Eve didn't have jobs, unless they were gardeners in the Garden of Eden.
I have a wide vocabulary.
I was going to say I have a wide vagina, but I don't know about vocabulary. I can't even say vocabulary. Vocabulary?
Unfortunately for Charlotte, there's still much more of this testing test to come.
Because I'm getting stressed out now because I can't think of an example.
And Callie talks about the two sides of her personality as our psych tester reveals the results.
On this shoulder there was Frank, on this shoulder there was Kelly, and they were constantly battling with each other to take control of me.
This is Celebrity Psych Test, where reality royalty Charlotte Crosby...
God, this is so hard.
...and former boxing promoter Callie Maloney...
I can't walk past the mirror without looking at it and just checking my hair's right or my makeup's right.
...are taking a psychological test as we try to reveal their true personalities.
I find I often screw things up.
I have screwed up some things. I've made some bad decisions, but overall, I don't think I screw things up because there's parts of me that likes to know that I'm doing things well, doing things right, and there's parts of me that likes to be in control of the situation.
I do screw a few things up, mind. There's been plenty of time I've been on live TV, I've been told not to swear, and then the odd shit comes out. Sometimes I fuck.
I feel relaxed most of the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm a much more relaxed person than I've ever been. I'm very comfortable in myself and with my body, except for sometimes when I put on a bit of weight, I get anxious.
I get very anxious and I really work myself up at times about things and I really stress out. So when I do certain TV appearances and I have to talk about certain topics which I find a bit hard to talk about because they were hard to deal with at the time. I went through an ectopic pregnancy, so there's a lot of times where I have to speak about that on live TV and I get really, really, really anxious. So I would definitely not say I feel relaxed most of the time, so I disagree with that.
I rarely feel down in the dumps.
I would say previously I was always down in the dumps as Frank because of what I was going through. In today's lifestyle, I'm a much happier person, a much more contented person. So I would have to say today, if you asked me that question, I would agree with that question.
Test complete.
Woo! That was so fast. The questions were so different to anything I've ever been asked before. I mean, some of them were a little bit deep, don't get us wrong, but I mean, you just gotta mix it up sometimes.
Very interesting finding what the results are, what it says my personality is, because I've probably got a completely different opinion of myself to what that test is gonna throw out.
I want the whole shebangy. I cannot wait to get sat down and told what kind of person I am.
Our very own psych tester Lee has been interpreting our celebrities' responses, whilst comparing them to the thousands of others worldwide who've taken the test. It looks at 6 personality traits. First up, it's friendliness, and Charlotte comes out as a real big softie.
You're very good at feeling other people's emotions. You're friendly, compassionate, and extremely sympathetic.
Do you know what? I really like the way you're saying that because I am. I just feel like people need to know that.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not a nasty person, and a lot of people get us really mixed up, and it's like you're a very fiery person. I'm like, well, I'm not really. No, I'm not a very fiery person at all.
No.
Oh, this is a really nice. I sound like such a nice person. It's making me feel a bit emotional, you know, Lee. It really is.
With a background in the no-nonsense world of boxing, Callie comes out as a bit more hard-nosed.
The test results showed that you actually are a bit of a tough cookie.
But maybe there's still a lot of the old me still there.
Yeah, maybe, maybe. I mean, years of being who you were, you know, obviously you can't completely just eradicate that person,
No.
and there must be some remnants there.
Yeah, no, there is. I mean, there is. You know, I do see it sometimes. My past life, I can't deny or disown, but it really wasn't me. You know, it's quite unique because not many people live 2 lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
The test also looks at emotional stability, and Charlotte comes out as a little bit up and down.
You can get stressed out easily and feel under pressure at work. It doesn't take much to get you upset, and it seems to stay with you quite a while. You seem to take it and carry it.
I do. I carry it everywhere with us.
How do you take the burden of that extra weight?
It's just so much going on in my head. It's just constantly thinking. It's very hard for us to switch off. Like, I still think about things that I got wrong, like, about 2 months ago. And then I still worry about it. until I'll see it, that it wasn't actually that bad, I'll still worry.
It's quite a high standard to constantly try and reach, isn't it?
I know, it really is.
When it comes to their view of other people, the test suggests that Callie finds it hard to trust others.
You talked about when you're around other people and how if you're feeling a certain way or if you're feeling uncomfortable, you kind of keep it in, you don't share how you're feeling. What was that because of? Was it like a lack of confidence or a lack of trust in others?
Yeah, well, in my previous life, I didn't trust anyone.
Right.
I actually didn't share any, only with my lawyers. That was about the only people I would talk to and trust.
Wow, what a transformation then for you. Not just thinking about your physical transformation, but just about your character transformation and your emotional transformation as well along the way.
I felt like I was this person in the middle. On this shoulder there was Frank, on this shoulder there was Kelly. And they were constantly battling with each other to take control of me.
Charlotte's results show she has an even-tempered view of the world and of other people.
You have a very balanced worldview. You value honesty, but you also see the value of a little white lie.
Yeah. When I think about it, the only time I do tell a little white lie is to either protect someone's feelings or to protect my embarrassment.
Yeah.
Never about anything bad, though. Never to protect us from getting locked up.
The overall results show that Charlotte often struggles to control her emotions, which can make her stressed out. That she really values the company of others and is sensitive to how they feel. That she assumes the best about people, unless proven otherwise, and has a very positive outlook on the world. Callie's results suggest she keeps a tight circle of friends and family and is less open to those outside that circle. And, after years in the boxing game, she's more cynical about other people's motives than Charlotte, although her outlook has changed in recent years. So, what will our celebs take away with them now they've heard the feedback?
I found out that I'm a caring person. I like to put a lot of people before myself. I'm very curious and a perfectionist when it comes to work. I'm always wanting to learn. I'm always asking questions.
When I've done TV interviews, it's always the same sort of questions. This is the first time I've actually been able to be open and be myself. And I hope this gets the world to see who I really am.
I think I found out that I'm just a really great girl. There's evidence, there is proof in the pudding!
Who's facing questions in the chair today? It's two of Made in Chelsea's finest. Jamie Lang.
I'm like a Duracell bunny, I'm like a Labrador. Just excited by anything.
And his best buddy, Spencer Matthews.
I suspect I'll probably come out of this being told I'm a psychopath.
Let's hope not, Spencer. But have a seat, and we'll soon find out.
Are you ready to take the test?
Let's go for it.
I find it easy to sympathise with other people's feelings.
I do, because I think it's important to sympathise with other people's feelings because we're all built differently, right? And because you feel a certain way and think a certain way doesn't mean someone else does. And you have to be open to that and understand that. So I would agree with that for sure.
I find it really difficult to sympathise with other people's feelings. It's not that I'm unsympathetic. Actually, I don't know why I said that. I am very unsympathetic. One thing I cannot stand is when people fish for sympathy when they don't really need it. You know, you watch all these people now that just cry and sob and whine about absolutely anything, and I just find it so boring. So I disagree with that.
I get a buzz being around other people.
I love people. I think people are great. People are awesome. So, yeah, I completely get a buzz. So I strongly agree.
I'll disagree with that. I don't get a buzz from being around other people. I get a buzz if I'm doing something fun, but the people have nothing to do with it.
I don't think people are gullible and easy to take advantage of.
I don't think people are that gullible. And also, I don't think it's right to take advantage of people.
No, I'll disagree with that, because I do think people are naturally gullible, but I don't act on that as much as I used to.
I have a wide vocabulary.
It's wider than some people's and it's narrower than others, I suspect, but I guess I'll agree with that.
No, I don't. I did, when I was at school, I went and had a dyslexic test, because I thought I was dyslexic. And I went to my English teacher, and I said, why did I fail a dyslexic test and I'm not dyslexic? He said, Jamie, it's because you're stupid. So, yeah, I don't have a good vocabulary, no.
I get stressed out easily.
I get so stressed. I get so stressed.
I never get stressed, ever.
I'm slightly neurotic in the sense where I just worry about so much, so it stresses me out. It's not so much stress, it's more that anxiety. So I would agree with that.
My close friends, I suspect, will not be able to give you a single example of a time when I've been stressed.
I don't like being the centre of attention.
No, I do like being the centre of attention.
I love being centre of attention. I love it. One of my best friends in the world, a girl called Georgie, her brother is also an attention seeker, and he doesn't invite me to his things because he thinks I'll steal the attention from him. That's weird, isn't it?
Other people's problems don't interest me at all.
Depends what type of problem. If they have a problem that is within them or something like that, then yeah, I take note of it and listen to it.
I know it sounds awful, but yeah, I will agree with that. It depends, you know, if my mother had a big problem or, you know, my best friend in the world had a problem, of course it would interest me. But, like, it's bad, but, you know, if a random stranger came up to me on the street and started telling me all about the problems that they were having in life, I couldn't care less. Sorry.
I often worry about things.
Always worrying. Always worrying.
I never worry about anything.
Well, yeah, it's about life, about situations, about whether I'm doing things right.
I kind of live in, like, Disneyland. Like, nothing worries me. Nothing ever bothers me. I'm pretty relaxed.
I find the easiest way to deal with people is to tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, I would strongly agree with that. I always tell people exactly what they want to hear.
I strongly disagree with that. In fact, it really bothers me when people do that.
Yeah, I find it easier to tell people what they want to hear than to be honest with them sometimes. It's like a little white lie.
Imagine there's a cocktail party and you go around having the same conversation with 20 different people and you give 20 different people 20 different things, all of which contradict each other. I can't stand people that do that. It really bothers me, actually, when people do that.
Well, that doesn't bode well for the next cocktail party.
I am always forgetting where I put things.
Always. Always. Where's the Sky controller gone? And then you blame everyone else.
No, I wouldn't say that was the case. Unless someone moves something, I usually know where it is.
I think people always take my clothes and boxes. Where do boxes go? Boxes are like always hidden, but they disappear. I don't know, where do they go?
I work on the assumption most people have a nasty side which they will reveal at some point.
I don't think most people have a nasty side. I don't think they do. I think people can turn nasty and people can be mean.
I would naturally assume that most people had a dark side or a nasty side. So I think it's embedded within people to be nasty if they deem it appropriate. So yeah, I agree with that.
It doesn't take much to get me upset.
I mean, if it's a movie, like if you put on My Sister's Keeper, that beach scene, I'm all over the place. But I can get upset. I would agree.
I strongly disagree with that. It takes a huge amount to upset me. Insulting me is much like pouring water onto a duck. Just slides straight off.
I rarely feel down in the dumps.
I'm honestly not trying to sound like the perfect kind of human here, but I just never feel down in the dumps.
Life is a heart monitor, right? Okay, life is your heart monitor goes beep, 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 like that. And that shows you're alive. If you're flatlining, you're dead. So, yeah, because I'm up and down, I feel, yeah, of course you do.
I make people feel relaxed and at ease.
Not always.
I have a couple of friends who are naturally quite anxious, and they constantly tell me that I make them feel more relaxed. It's probably due to the fact that I don't know what anxiety is.
You can always be relaxed with someone when you know exactly what you're going to get. With me, you don't know, so you can't always feel relaxed.
Test complete.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Compared to other TV interviews, this was obviously more personal. You know, usually you're talking about the show instead of yourself.
I think I'm happy with my answers. Yeah. But whenever I did an exam, I always used to think I was happy with those answers, and then they were always wrong. So, I don't know, we'll find out.
No going back now.
While Psych tester Lee has been analysing their answers and compared them to thousands of other people worldwide who have taken the test. It looked at 6 personality traits. The first one is how emotionally stable they are.
So your emotions are quite up and down, which means you can get anxious at times, you can worry a lot, and you can find it hard to get relaxed. You described it as like a
heart monitor.
A heart monitor.
Yeah.
And I really sort of identified with that, you know, hitting those points to feel alive.
Do you know what's so funny, actually, what weirdly is? We strive for in life for success, for money, for fame, for all these kind of things, but none of those things actually make you happy. But what you have to always remember, and this is how I cope with, is that those emotions, it's like a cloudy day. Whenever there's a cloudy day, there's always blue sky above it. You just have to make sure you can get back to that blue sky, and you always will get back to it. It's just about finding a way to do that.
Spencer, on the other hand, is the complete opposite.
You are extremely emotionally stable. That means you're calm and relaxed in terms of stress. In extreme cases, this can come across as arrogance and self-importance. Has anybody said that to you?
Yeah, of course I have. But I think that there's a very fine line between confidence and arrogance. I think I'm a very confident person. I reckon I can do most things. I reckon I can befriend most people, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think the arrogance necessarily comes into it.
So it's surprising when I think about your friendship with Spencer. He's more steady as the go, and you're more up and down.
So with Spenny, he actually isn't so straight down the line, but he puts on a front that he's completely straight down the line. And in fact, if you take off the lid of the pot, then you would see what's bubbling underneath.
The test also looks at friendliness. Jamie has a huge interest in others and shows a great deal of empathy.
You know, I've done so many things where I've, you know, experienced like living with people who have no money and stuff like that, and I've done all these different TV shows that do those kind of things. And what I realise is that nothing matters. Nothing matters at all, but what matters is friends and family. So if you alienate those people around you because of the choices you're making, you're then left with no one. So it's important not to do that. And so that's why I'm very conscious of empathy now.
However, the results suggest that Spencer is much less interested in other people and has very little empathy indeed. It's something he's well aware of and is trying to work on.
It's not a very nice thing to not have empathy, so I'd like to have empathy. I mean, in the past, I haven't been very empathetic with people. If I'm chatting to someone who's just an anxious wreck and I don't understand it because I've never been anxious, it's strange because there's no real way round talking to them about it without seeming like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm better than you.
You're aware of other people's anxiety and you're trying to understand it. That's empathy.
I do have a bit of empathy, I suppose, but it has come kind of more recently, I suppose.
Yeah, because I was just...
as I'm knocking on 30's door, I think it's getting there.
It would be really interesting to see how you score on that in a year's time, or maybe 2 years' time.
Yeah.
The results also suggest that these two good friends do share one very extreme personality trait.
You are a massive show-off, and you like being the centre of attention.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
You are very aware of not coming across as an attention seeker or domineering.
If I went to a party or whatever and someone else was blah, 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 I wouldn't feel the need to compete with that person.
Right.
So I'm aware of it, but, you know, if a place needs livening up a bit, I'm your man.
You're a massive show-off.
Sweet. I like that. It makes me happy. The problem that comes with that being a centre of attention is that you're the hare. You have to learn sometimes to be the tortoise because the tortoise always wins.
Out of our 6 personality traits, Jamie's standout results suggest that he's an attention seeker and an anxious worrier, which can be unsettling for others despite his warm, friendly nature. Compared to others who've taken the test, Spencer also comes out as a big show-off. But unlike Jamie, emotionally, he's as steady as they come. He's also a tough cookie who shows very little empathy for others. Now they've heard the results, what do the boys think about what they've learned?
Well, now that I've discovered that I have got some empathy, I'll probably work on that. Try and become a very empathetic person, because I do think that that's a nice trait.
You have to live in this body, so surely you want to know everything about yourself, and this is the way to find out everything about yourself.
So who's taking on the test today? It's the titan of tattoo fixing, Sketch.
My personality, if I had to explain it, would be pretty artistic, very creative, and get kind of lost in my own thoughts quite a lot. Because I'm full of tattoos, most people look at me and just think, wow, like, he's going to be a nightmare.
And Colossus of comedy, Russell Kane.
How would other people describe my personality? Mad, high energy, intense. Funny. I just love stuff like this. I love medicals, I love getting my blood pressure checked, I love scans. I like looking inside myself.
Well, brace yourself, Russell, because we're about to take a look inside you too. Deep inside. Very deep inside.
You can absolutely do the right thing by people all of the time.
You'll go mental if you believe that statement. You can't. You can certainly try to do the right thing, but you won't inevitably do the right thing by people all of the time. So it's absurd to believe that statement. Strongly disagree.
I think, yeah, you should. I think you should absolutely do the right thing by people all the time, because if you don't, and they don't, and the other person doesn't, and the other person doesn't, no one's going to do the right thing, and then we're going to end up completely destroying humanity.
I have a wide vocabulary.
I strongly agree with that, purely because when I started reading, I kept cards, and on every time I encountered a new word, I would write that word down. I collected 2,500 of those cards over my university career, and I would do those cards when I was on the toilet.
I can hardly spell, to be fair. Everyone's always on social media just writing all the spelling mistakes, and it pisses me off, if I'm fair. Like, it just literally comes up, that's how you spell there or there. My vocabulary as well is crap, so I can't even say the word properly, so I'm strongly disagree with that.
I'm not just like this, some sort of psychopath thinking I have a wide vocabulary. I actually set out to learn more words on purpose using an index card system. Strongly agree. Next question. Boom.
I only do things when I am positive they are morally right.
No, I'd disagree with that. No, I don't think you can let off steam properly without being a bit immoral here. And in fact, I enjoy thinking sometimes, oh, that was a bit immoral. Wasn't it fun, darling? Again next week?
I mean, I grew up, obviously, a bit wayward when I was young. So, like, a lot of the things that my sort of gang when I was younger got up to, I would steer clear of some things, because obviously it's not going to benefit me and it's morally wrong what they're doing. So, yeah, I'll only do it if it is positive and I'm not going to end up in jail, mostly.
I am always forgetting where I put things.
Yeah, strongly agree. I wish there was another one at the end of the scale. It's weird because my academic memory, if I set out to try and learn Italian before I go on holiday, I can remember weird quirks about verbs, but can I remember to bring my passport to the airport? No, so I don't even get to go to Italy. Strongly agree. Wouldn't even know where the passport was. Passaporte, in case you're wondering.
When my youngest daughter was born, I had her elder sister with me, and I went into the shop and I put them in a buggy bay and went to get Burger King, and I took my daughter out, but where my other daughter just born was only like 5 days old, I forgot I had her. So I left her in the buggy bay and went to get a burger, and then thought, oh my God. And I'd left her underneath the pushchair in the bottom in some little basket thing, but she was still there, so everything was fine.
Very pleased to hear it, Sketch.
I don't like being the centre of attention.
Strongly disagree. It's lucky for me I found the job that is the opposite of that statement. That's where I feel at home. There's definitely a sense of peace as soon as I'm on stage. A complete sense of being in exactly where I'm supposed to be that I never felt before in my life.
I don't like being in the centre of everything. If it's all about me, I hate it. So anxiety level just peaks so bad, so I strongly agree with that.
I get lost if people start talking about philosophy or complex ideas.
I would strongly disagree with that. In fact, I'm into all that sort of nerdy, intellectual wanking. And if anything, I would be eager to show that I understood what they were talking about, just to show off I could follow them.
I strongly disagree with that, because I actually believe that I'm very intelligent. Like, physiology and complex ideas, it's kind of my thing. Like, there's no way in the world that the Earth is round. Pretty sure of that, and I'll talk anyone's ear off for ages that we're on a flat plane.
I like using long words.
Do I like using long words? I love it. Strongly agree.
I try to think I know long words, and they never come out well. I did learn a word the other day that was so long, and I was like, I'm using that. No, can't remember it.
Test complete.
Yes, that's wicked.
Thank you for taking part.
I wonder how I've done on that.
Welcome, Yarch.
I felt it very easy to speak to the TV than an actual person.
I like to think I've got all this brilliant insight into myself. So I hope that I'm proved wrong.
Their answers have been analysed by our psych tester, Lee, who's also compared them with thousands of others who've taken the test. It looks at 6 different personality traits. First up, do our celebrities come out as shy guys or show-offs?
You are a massive show-off.
No, that's a result. That's a result, really, because I've got quite a large mortgage. I was suspecting more underlying introversion to come through, because that's what people have said of me before.
Well, you think about it, you're conditioned by your environment. So you've been, in the last 10 years, you've been in show business. It's going to have some effect on some of your character traits.
I mean, if you think about it, a decade ago, I found it very difficult to even use the loo in the comedy club before I went on. I was so shy about using public toilets. Now it's like unthinkable. I fucking poo in a field before I do a festival gig. I've lost all of that, so maybe the introversion's gone with it.
Yeah.
Sketch's results suggest he's nowhere near as outgoing as Russell.
You're an introvert and you're quite shy, but you enjoy meeting other people and learning about them.
I do really like to meet new people and understand and hear their stories, but I need to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
If I don't feel comfortable, I'll be very shy. But if I feel comfortable around that person, I will open up and I will not be shy.
The test also looks at how conscientious our celebrities are. And it has Russell down as someone who likes to do things by the book.
A couple of things that came through for me is just how structured and organised you are. You talked about going on holiday.
I always take the Lonely Planet. If there's a walk, I want to do it. I research everything to the nth degree. When Lindsay was pregnant, it was me that researched the different types of birth. I even did a conception chart. I knew the exact day she would be fertile. You know, I'm the organiser. Otherwise, she would just be, here, man, it happens when it happens, namaste. Whereas I'm like, look, if we do it on this day, we'll be parents. You cool with that? Great. Right, up to the mating chamber. Bang. First go.
Compared to Russell, Sketch's results suggest he's a much more impulsive person.
You go with the flow, you're spontaneous, but it can also mean that you're a bit messy and you're quite forgetful.
Yes. I mean, if I wake up in the morning, in my head, all I have to do is take a dog for a walk, have a cup of tea, and get ready for bed. And then the phone will go, did it? And my missus will go, hope you remembered cabs at 8:30. You're going to Birmingham this morning for this. I just follow the path that's laid, like, wow. Yeah, just as it goes.
Russell also comes out as a very inventive kind of chap.
So you're obviously very creative and you explore new ideas and enjoy new experiences. You know, it sounds like your brain is always on, you're always full of creative thoughts, yeah. It's constant. What motivates you?
Ambition.
Yeah.
Ambition. So I can only give you the most recent example of something I've gone from scratch to fruition. And a YouTuber said to me, why is none of your generation doing these comedy blogs? So what on earth would be my motivation for trying it? Because a lot of people think that will never work, and I love going, look, see, it did. What a buzz.
When it comes to new ideas, Sketch comes out as a little less creative than Russell.
You seem to be halfway between being cautious and being curious. And you talked about having lots of ideas, but then in another sense, you kind of suggested that you don't have ideas or they don't come to fruition and you weren't creative.
I think what I was trying to get across is I can have ideas, but it's like, like if you crossed like an alligator with a zebra, it would look amazing. But it's not an idea that can actually come to fruition, is what I was trying to get across.
But when you think about your line of work, that could happen because that's what you do for a living. So somebody may want a tattoo, and you've said yourself, you know, you started.
If you want it, you just ask.
Yeah. Well, you said
hook you up.
It sounds quite interesting, actually. And you said you start tattoos, and you sometimes don't know what they're going to end up looking like.
100%, yeah.
Now that to me describes someone who's massively imaginative and creative. Yeah. So I don't know if you're doubting yourself there a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Out of our 6 personality traits, Sketch's standout results suggest he's quite an introverted chap, that he's impulsive and likes to go with the flow, and that he has plenty of ideas, but can sometimes find it difficult to bring them to fruition. Compared to Sketch and all the others who've taken the test, Russell is extremely outgoing, and feels happy when he's the centre of attention. And unlike Sketch, he prefers to be highly organised and efficient. He's also very imaginative and uses his energy and ambition to bring his ideas to life. Now that the test is over, what do our celebs think about their results?
I think Lee done an amazing job.
I found the experience invigorating, enlightening, pleasurable. It tickled my intellectual curiosity. I'm just nosy about myself as I am about other people, so I enjoyed it on that level.
I'm gonna walk out of here with a smile, and hopefully I'm gonna give him a crocodile tattoo, half zebra, half crocodile.